What cannabis stock should I buy? What cannabis stock should I invest my money in? What weed stock should I buy? What marijuana stock should I invest in? Those are all the questions that I'm getting, especially since election day when we saw the big referendum on weed across the country, across the United States. You have my sister state right there to the east of me, New Jersey, that made marijuana medically legal, medicinally legal, recreationally legal. I'm messing up my words. All right. But you know what I mean? They're making it legal. They made it recreational legal. And there are a whole bunch of other states that have kind of done the same thing. So I'm going to talk about that, try to answer the question that I keep getting, and hopefully give a little bit of guidance. All right. I'll see you on the other side. Hey everybody, Kamar YOLO, the Finance Rebel, the founder of the Philly Tax Team. Just want to talk about something today. Like I said at the top of the video, or the top of the broadcast, that people keep asking me about weed stocks. What should I buy? What should I invest? What stocks are good? What's the new hot weed stock? What's the new hot marijuana stock? What's the new hot cannabis stock? Whatever way you want to word it, right? Because, you know, everybody likes to call the flower a different name. I know the proper name for it is cannabis, though, right? That is the proper name. But let's talk about this real quick. People want to know what they want to invest in. Is it Kronos? Is it Tilray? Is it I always get the names wrong, right? Is it Aurora? Well, guess what, folks? I don't know. I don't know which one of these stocks are really going to blow. Being honest with you, I don't know which stocks are really going to do good. Now, if you've been rocking with me for a while, you know that I invested in Tilray a couple years ago. And actually, full disclosure, full transparency, I actually still own some shares of Tilray. However, that doesn't color how I feel about the weed market today, or the marijuana market, or the cannabis market, whatever way you want to call it. But let's talk about it. So like I said, this is what I do know. The global marijuana market, cannabis market, is estimated to be about $340 some odd billion, $340 billion. That's a lot of cheddar. That's a lot of clams. It's a lot of money. So we know we're going to see more legalization of marijuana in some way, shape, or form. Now, the United States federal government might be a bit of a laggard. It might be a little bit behind the curve. It might be a little slow. That's kind of the nature of the federal government, though, right? If anybody understands what I'm saying. Again, we could run down all those names, you know, the Kronos, the Tilrays, the Altrias, the Afias, the Medmens, the Cure Leafs, any of those names, right? And we don't really know who's going to win. But again, I see some more things happening to push the legalization, the decriminalization of marijuana. And that's a good thing, in my opinion, because a lot of people suffer with chronic illnesses. I know my uncle who suffered with cancer began to start to use the flower to help him get an appetite, actually to help him to even keep food down. It worked for him a lot, you know. Sadly, you know, he still has transitioned on, but it worked. And it's kind of made me a believer as well. So I saw some updates on this, right? In the mid of everybody asking me these questions since the election. But I wanted to talk about this real quick. The UN is pushing for something. So the UN is pushing for marijuana stocks to get legal. In particular, they're actually pushing for cannabis stocks to not be classified in the same way that heroin is classified. So if you didn't notice, heroin and marijuana or cannabis are basically classified the same way in the drug tables. They're both Schedule 1 drugs. It's crazy, right? You're probably asking yourself, how can anyone, anywhere, somehow think that weed, marijuana, cannabis is the same exact thing as heroin? But hey, that's how they did it back in the 60s. I don't know why they did it that way, but this is good news. So now we're getting some global pressure pushing it on, right? This all kind of turns into our overall investment thesis about why cannabis is a good investment. No doubt cannabis as an industry is a good investment. Again, the question is, which company should we invest in? Which company can we kind of execute our investment thesis? All right. So let's just travel down the road a little bit more as I talk to you about this. All right. So on election day, the country spoke out. The country made their voices heard. They sang the song of freedom for cannabis users, and people heard them. All right. So New Jersey, Arizona, Montana, and South Dakota all voted to legalize recreational use of cannabis. There's one more, though. One more, Mississippi. I'm not going to try to spell it because all I can think of is M-I, Cucaletta, Cucaletta I, humpback, humpback. All right, y'all get the point. All right, but that state of Mississippi made medical marijuana legal. So medical, not recreational, medical. So recreational is when you can kind of smoke it freely or ingest it freely. Medical, you tend to need or you absolutely have a need for a prescription from a doctor. But either way, that's progress. It's progress, it's progress, that's progress. And so you have this $340 billion market globally. We have more states coming online, making it legal on the state level, not the federal level. It's still illegal on the federal level, but on the state level, these states are pushing through and they're saying they're going to make it legal. They're going to have people selling it. They're going to collect tax dollars from this, which is what I really feel is pushing all of this. But this is making for a better day for a lot of cannabis users, whether it be medical or recreational. Nobody has ever really shown that cannabis has a real negative effect. So it's getting pushed forward. It's getting pushed forward. Again, people always ask me, what should they invest in? And I say, we don't really know which one of these stocks are going to win at the end of the day. So why not buy them all? All right. And you can kind of buy them all two ways. All right. And both of those ways are with ETFs. So one ETF is called MJ, just like Mary Jane. The other one is called YOLO, YOLO. All right. And so one ETF is bigger than the other. So I'm going to pull those up real quick so you can look at those, so we can all look at those. And so MJ ETF. And so before we get into this, I just want to remind everybody, this is not investment advice. This is not investment recommendations. Before you buy or sell any recommendation, please check in with your investment advisor and your tax advisor. Remember, past performance of an investment does not indicate future results of an investment. All right. So let's take a look at these two ETFs real quick. All right. So the first one I'm going to show you is for MJ. Okay, so MJ is the ETF MG Alternative Harvest ETF. So here's a little bit about MJ. MJ tracks the Prime Alternative Harvest Index, right? So it's a harvest index because marijuana cannabis is usually considered an agricultural thing. It's an part of the agricultural sector. So, there is no quote unquote weed sector. Not yet. It could come. But for right now, it's part of agriculture. Sometimes you might even see it in in pharmaceuticals as well. All right. So it tracks to the Prime Alternative Harvest Index, designed to measure the performance of companies within this cannabis ecosystem benefiting from global medicinal and recreational cannabis legalized incentives. All right. So the first U.S. and world's largest ETF to target the global cannabis industry. Okay. So it has a little under $1 billion in assets. So it has $962 million in assets under management. It's pretty big. All right. Its expense ratio is 0.75. It's a little bit on the hefty side, but I get it. I get it. All right. And so here, when you look at the map of everything that's legalized, everything is in green. States like Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada. All right. Those that have been decriminalized are places like Pennsylvania and New Jersey, but now they're soon to turn. New Jersey, at least, is soon to turn legalized as well. So, like I said, $344 billion globally, y'all. So there is a lot of opportunity here, and the market is just getting going. Now, year to date, this fund is down. It's down 3%. I'm sorry, it's down 36% year to date. Cannabis has gotten hit. If anybody remembers, again, I invested in Tilray. Remember, Tilray opened up at like 20 something, went up to like 300 something, and now I think it's trading at like $9 at the time of this recording. So, it's been on a bit of a roller coaster, and it's only been out 2 years. So all of these stocks are kind of following along in the same in the same trend. All of these stocks are kind of following along in the same trend. And if you're really curious investor or soon to be investor or young learning investor, look up correlation, and you can see how each one of the marijuana stocks are highly correlated with one another. And so they kind of move in lockstep. So it can be a little dangerous, right? But with proper planning, with proper strategy, I think you can position yourself to win a day. And that is part of the reason why I suggest investing in ETFs instead of an individual stock when it comes to investing in cannabis. All right, so let's look at some of the holdings that they have. All right, so the top 10 holdings in this fund is Afria, it's 10% of the fund. GW Pharma is in the fund, it's about 8.3%. Canopy is 8.2%. Aurora, right, is 7.3% of this fund. Kronos is 6.9% of the overall fund. All right, Tilray is about 5.9% of the fund. Growth Generation Corp is 5.64% of this fund. Hexo Corp is 4.4%. Village Farms is 4.16%. And Charlotte's Web is 3.27%. And so if you had $100, right, and you were going to invest in each one of these the same way the company does. So Afria would, get $10.10 of your money. GD Pharma would get $8.30 of your money. Canopy Growth would get $8.20 of your money. Aurora Cannabis would get $7.32 of your money. Kronos would get $6. Tilray would get $5.93. Growth Generation would get $5.64. Hexo would get $4.44, and Village Farms is $4.16, and Charlotte's Web would get $3.27, right? So when, a lot of us don't think in percentages, so I like to kind of break it down in a number standpoint as well. So those are the biggest movers in this. A lot of people love it. You see, it almost has $1 billion in assets under management. All right. So that's one option. Again, this is not an investment recommendation. This is just education and entertainment. All right. Now, there is another ETF that is on the market that I feel that people should take a look at before trying to invest in the individual stocks. All right. And so this ticker symbol is YOLO. That is an advisor shares ETF. Again, it's getting some traction, it's getting some visibility. A lot of people like it. It's a little different than MJ. And I'll show you that in just a second. And so here we're looking at YOLO Advisor Shares Pure Cannabis ETF. All right. So right now it's trading at $16.58. All right. So overall, cannabis and its various applications have been used throughout human civilization. All right. So this is YOLO and Advisor Shares spin or pitch to get people to start to buy into this. All right. All right. So let's look at this. Assets under management, they have about $128 million, give or take. All right. So it's definitely not the same as MJ. MJ definitely has more money into it. More investors have been flocking to it. More people like it. Now, year to date, this is what's interesting. Year to date, this ETF is only down 1.52%. So you definitely want to look at that. Now, what kind of holdings does YOLO have versus MJ? So YOLO has VFF, which is Village Farms International, coming in at its biggest holding, 10.62%. Excuse me, 11.13%. Curl Leaf is coming in at 8.14%. Green Thumb is coming in at 7.37% of the overall fund. Innovative Industrial Proper is coming in at 6.91%. Growth Generation is coming in at 6.81%. GW Pharmaceuticals is coming in at 5.62%. Afia is coming in at $4.94%, not dollars yet. We're not there yet. TerraSend is coming in at 4.58. Crisco, I think it's called Crisco or Cresco. I'm always unsure what it's called. It's coming in at 4.43% of the fund. And Trulieve Cannabis Swap is coming in at 4.36%. All right, so that is the breakdown of YOLO. Now, I like both of these funds. I like MJ. I like YOLO because they have different allocations. They both have different allocations. The YOLO is geared more towards, I would say, the less established cannabis companies. The MJ is kind of geared towards the more established cannabis companies. So you can make a difference there, or you can make the difference between investing into the two there. But listen, at the end of the day, you can buy both. So if you got $100, you can put $50 on MJ and you can put $50 on YOLO. And then if there's any particular company that you really like that stands out to you, you can start to buy those as well. All right. But again, my opinion is your best play to play marijuana, cannabis industry right now is one of these ETFs, either YOLO or MJ. That's my opinion. My opinions don't represent anybody else, just mine. All right. Listen, again, this is not investment advice. Everything I say here is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Again, before you think about or go to buy any investment, you want to talk to an investment and tax advisor. Remember that past performance of an investment is not a guarantee of future results. All right. So that just basically means that things can change. Just because a stock has done really, really well in the past does not mean it will go forward and continue to do good in the future. All right, everybody. So listen, what do you think? What is your favorite cannabis stock? Which one do you like? Drop me a comment below, and I'll see you all the next time. Kamari Ellis out. Have a great day.